Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to delete half of this shape here. So I'm going to go into my front viewport, continuing from our previous video. I'm going to select my faces and make sure I have symmetry off, because otherwise it'll highlight everything, and I'm going to just select everything on the right side of my shield, because I'm basing all of my concept art and design, because this is going to be symmetrical. I'm just going to delete everything on that side. And one spot you might miss some faces, which I just did, is right here. And that should be it. Okay. Now from this point here, what I'm going to do, there's a couple ways I can do this, but the way I want to show you how to do this is I'm going to go to, I've already showed you how to duplicate an object with Control D or Edit Duplicate. Now we're going to get into Edit Duplicate Special, Control Shift D, but make sure that you have this, you hit the little settings box. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to scale X at -1 because I built it from my front viewport, so I'm going to scale X at -1, and then I'm going to create a geometry type. Instead of a copy of the actual object, I'm going to create an instance. And what that does is it makes it, everything you do to one object, it will instance on the other, and group under parent, which is fine. And then we'll just go ahead and hit Duplicate Special, and you'll notice it just automatically flips over, which is super awesome. Now the cool part about this, there's still two separate objects, but watch this. If I go into my verts, and let's just say I want to start making some changes, it'll do that just like we use the Symmetry tool. So that's a really, really neat feature, and there's all types of cool little tricks that we can do. But you'll notice right off the bat, it is a symmetrical object. So our shield, we only had to model half of it instead of all of it. Now, we've already done all the hard part, but that's just showing you how to duplicate special. You may want to do this with other objects in the future, but you want to get your base mesh down before you do something like a duplicate special. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to select both objects and I'm going to combine them, because I'm really happy with the results that I have. If there was one spot, if I'm really going to be critical, I could go down here and select these verts here and just give myself a little bit more room on this region. Something like so. Just a little extra, because you'll see that right up here it actually seems a little bit bigger. I mean, that's being nitty-gritty. I'm not too concerned about it, but you know, something like that. Bring this one up a little bit, and then maybe this one too. Oop. Something like that. It's not crucial to have this. If you have something like this happen, here's a quick fix. Holding V, as we just did. Just holding V. Just snap it out, and that'll snap it directly to that vert. Also right here, it looks like I accidentally grabbed something there, and that'll snap it to this vert. Okay. Anyway, that's a pretty good there we go. That'll work. Okay. Anyway, so now that I've got this shape exactly how I want it, I can select this side, combine objects. Now it'll no longer be duplicate special object, because you've combined it all into one object. Now if I press 3, you'll notice just because I duplicate specialed it and combined it doesn't mean these vertices are merged. So one last thing I need to do is I'm going to enter my front viewport. I'm going to go to Vertex. I'm going to highlight all these vertices. Ooh. And the tricky part is to make sure you don't highlight too many verts on this particular sequence. As I showed you, we missed some faces before, and I got up to that point, so and I'm holding shift, and I can just go ahead and click the rest of them, and now I've got all of these highlighted. I'm going to hold shift, right click, merge vertices. I'm going to check my settings box, and I'm going to just add a 0 in here because I don't want 0.0, and hit apply, and that should combine the entire object in just one simple shot, all those vertices. Press 3. Yeah, it worked just fine. So I combined all those verts. If you're struggling doing that way, just do the long way, highlight the verts, merge vertices. So there is the duplicate special, and I showed you symmetry, and there's our base shield now. Now, from this point, the geometry does look a little wonky, but the funny part is that it's all edge loops. They're all proper edge loops. So there's the geometry is actually really good because we have all of these proper edge loops, which is going to make it super easy for us to start running some bevel edges. So I'm going to show you how to do some bevel edges also. I believe I already showed you, but we'll just do it again. So I'm going to start to highlight all of these edges, and this is going to be my last. The only place it doesn't work well for that geometry because the edge loops are, and I could have done symmetry, but I didn't. I'll do it for the next part probably, so I don't have to highlight all these. I'll go ahead and turn on my symmetry, and you'll see that that actually should have grabbed everything around. It looks like it did, and this one also, and then of course the one part I really didn't need it to. Here we go. Here it worked pretty well. Okay, so I'll turn symmetry off. I just turn off symmetry when I'm gonna execute some type of a command, because in previous versions it messed things up. It just was like this little glitch that would sort of mess up the model. So here I'm just gonna do hold shift right click with my edges highlighted, run a bevel edge, segments 2, let's try that, and let's just try apply and see what happens. I say that looks pretty good. I like that. That'll work. So I'm going to keep that box open actually, and then the next set I'm going to turn symmetry on again if it lets me. It probably won't let me with this box open. Oh, select my arrow. Whenever you can't, here's a really good tip. Whenever anything isn't allowing you to select something like that, go back to this arrow key. For whatever reason, it just messes things up. It just doesn't realize that you're trying to select something, and that the reason is, here I'm going to turn symmetry on for sure. The reason is, hold on, there we go, symmetry, is without that pointer selected, it really doesn't know that you're trying to select something, because it's the selector mouse button. Okay, I got all of those edges highlighted that I want here, and I'm going to turn off my symmetry, and I'm going to go hold shift right click, bevel edge. That should bevel it pretty well. And when you bevel edges, make sure you highlight all of the edges, and then here I'm going to turn symmetry on one more time, and I'm going to do these here. Okay, I think I got them all, and in this case I'm going to turn off my symmetry again. It's just a precaution from a habit of doing it in older versions. It probably still works fine in this one. It's just something that I've carried over to the new version so far. And then I'm going to do bevel edge on these, and I'm going to make the faction here. If I can just bring it down to 0.1, that'll do. Okay, and now what happens when I press 3 on it, you'll see, and I'll turn off my shading, wireframe unshaded, that it holds that crisp, clean edge, and that is what we use for hard edge poly surfaces. So in this case, something like this. And I'm going to run it one more time on the back part of the shield. And run a bevel edge one last time. And that should do it. So there is my shield that I have here. And that's it. That's the finished completed model. Everything else on this model, we're going to texture in some type of emblem in the center, but you'll see that this is our proper shape that I'm pleased with. One thing I could do is because this edge here is beveled, I would have to run. I'm not going to bevel this edge. I could, but it's going to sort of start to mess up my geometry. If I was going to do anything, I'd more than likely just cut in some manual edge loops here, using my multi-cut tool to give me a harder, crisp edge. There are other ways to display this edge as a hard, crisp corner. I'm not going to do it in this video, but I'm pleased with this shape and this model, and that's all I've got for you in this video. And I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on this mesh. I'm pleased with it. If you have any questions, be sure to inbox me on Canvas or whatever, or email. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there's our shield base mesh. Thanks for watching.